Anatan, ecologist from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Israel.
Helen Byrne from the University of Oxford Mathematical Institute.
Luca Giuggioli from the Eng Math Department from the University of Bristol.
I am Guillermo Abramson, a physicist from Instituto Balseiro in Bariloche, Argentina. Well, when you want to understand the dynamics of a system, the first thing that you have to do is to understand how their components move. And 3 centuries ago, Newton did precisely this. He formulated the laws of the motion of particles, and that was the birth of physics as an exact science, which eventually brought us to the technological civilizations that we have. So we are now doing the same for biological systems. Biological entities are much more complicated, so this is a work in progress. It is not done. It is not clear how we have to do it, but we have to understand how animals and cells move to make progress in the understanding of the dynamics of biological systems. And our program on the mathematics of movement of animals and cells is precisely about this.
Yes, so let me give you some background. I'm coming from ecology of animals. And about 20 years ago, the field was segregated to many sub-disciplines, and people work on different species and different movement phenomena. And there was an initiative in the Institute for Advanced Studies in Jerusalem to come up with a new integration, and we called it movement ecology. And it was established 15 years ago and become very successful, and people now from different research topics are studying under the same umbrella. And the vision is that we can do it beyond organism, the whole organism, animals and plants, to go into the cells in the body, within the body of humans, of animals, of any living creature, and try to think even bigger. We have now an opportunity to come up with a general theory of organismal movement and biological movements, and I think the combination of people here is a great opportunity to do exactly that. And mathematics is the common language that can bring us all together.
So I would say there are 2 main challenges in this sort of interdisciplinary endeavors. So one is the Tower of Babel. As you can understand, everybody speaks their own languages, and there is a lot of things to be done to actually understand each other. And there is another little bit more subtle, because how do you actually consider that you have solved a problem in some other disciplines and which is not your own? And so this is quite subtle, because you might believe that you've done great things, but it may be very little for what the other individuals in the other discipline consider. So to avoid all these pitfalls, then one has to really interact a lot. And actually, we have found an actually nice recipe to do this, which is probably kind of new, I guess, here at the Isaac Newton Institute. So we have this open discussion, open problems, where people just talk for 5-10 minutes. They only have 2 slides. And we actually force them to actually only put 2 slides, because everything is about interacting. And turns out that these are the ones that are most loved by everybody, and everybody wants to participate. So I think we have the right recipe to overcome this challenge, and I think we're going to have great results.
Well, there are many different aspects regarding the applications of the results that we will have from this program. First, there are theoretical advancements that will surely be made, but there are also practical consequences. For example, run.
Yes, I can think about problems, global problems of human health. So cancer and the function of the immune system and so on. At the cell biology level, and at the animal movement level, there are global warming effects, there are habitat loss and fragmentation, there are invasive species and disease, and they're all linked together. Think about a disease that is spread, for example, by migrating birds. and then these microbes or viruses enter the human body, and then the body is confronting this, fighting this disease. So we can use conceptual tools and actual mathematical frameworks to look at the whole problem with what we would like to achieve, with a unifying framework that we are trying to develop here.
Yeah, and then, you know, I would add that although it might seem far-fetched, but, you know, as, you know, movement encompasses a lot of topics and subjects, you know, there are also engineering application, you know, thinking about, you know, how you sort of make lots of robots work for you doing the same task or achieving certain task. And so all these sort of ideas in engineering can be useful because we can determine how to make them coordinate their behavior much better. And also you can think about human beings, and in social system there is a lot has to do with how they move, how they behave, and these are all the development that we can do here can also be useful in that context.
Yes, for certain. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of new collaborations. Just from the short time we've been here already, sort of talking to people that, I mean, you tend to work with people in your application area, and I think by being here and talking, say for me as modelling more of the cell biology side of things, talking to or learning more about modelling on the animal sides, you can see that there's common approaches that we're using, and I think there are a lot of real benefits to translating where one field is a bit more advanced, bringing that in, looking at the sort of commonalities and also the subtle differences and how we can learn from each other in that, both in terms of understanding the biology, the mathematical tools that we're using, the sorts of experiments that we design. And I would hope there's, you know, I can already see it starting to happen of just by being together in the Institute, conversations that just wouldn't happen otherwise. And so I'm confident that together we're going to, there'll be a lot of new collaborations, a lot of new ideas where you are learning from each other and bringing the best of what's in one field into other applications, certainly.